So let's try this again. So, to repent means to change how you think, by its original definition. So, if you've repented, you've actually changed your perspective on how you view things. How thoroughly you do so depends on how much effort you put into your change of heart. That about sums it up. I mean, how do I give an example of someone that changes how they view things? Well, let's use the scenario I gave for what is wisdom. To start with, the man that bumped into you only for you to fall and hit your funny bone. You likely don't have any pity for him, but would you change your thought process just a little if you found out that he was utterly distracted by how his mother is in the hospital and not expected to survive the night? Or might you be willing to show him a little more leniency if you found out that some random gangster had enraged him so much that he was doing everything he could to leave and cool down before his resolve broke and he went to murder the guy? This knowledge doesn't change what happened, but it provides context that is missing from the situation. No matter what people may say to the contrary, why something happens is just as important as it happening, because that is usually where the means of untangling the situation resides. So, to show a perspective of why a great many people still believe in the concept of God creating the heavens and the earth, I'm going to start with the very first 10 verses of the Bible and note things that make sense if you consider them objectively. Verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, before time as we know it. Remember, there is no point in saying this line unless it refers to the creation of the realm of the Spirit, or where God resides, or where God resides, and the whole of the physical. I say this because this is the starting point of reality. Given how Elisha was surrounded by an army of horses and chariots of fire in the Spirit in 2 Kings chapter 6, as well as how God opened the mouth of a donkey to speak in Numbers chapter 22, to protest the beating he was receiving for guiding his master away from the death he would have received, that only gives more credence to this interpretation, as nowhere in the Bible does it further mention something that can be perceived as a creation of the realm of the Spirit. Verse 2, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. The second instance of what existed before time, describing the empty vastness of space in its entirety, and the presence of the living waters which are part and parcel of God. There is more to this line, but I do not have the knowledge and wisdom to perceive it. Verse 3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. The creation of the entire light spectrum, from the visible wavelengths of light that include color to infrared, ultraviolet, and all the other wavelengths that exist. Moreover, the light most likely emanated as these waves with no ties to physical objects. As with the last verse, there is more here that I do not have the wisdom and knowledge to perceive. Verse 4, God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. The creation of time as we know it is finished, and all of this was done in one earth day. Verse 5, and God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. The creation of space and sky, where the void of before still exists, but has been separated from the creations being made for the other planets in the solar system. This is also the beginning of the creation of the periodic table as we know it, where the waters are being separated into the different elements and assigned the values where they change from liquid to vapor. Verse 6, and God made the expanse and separated the waters from the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse, and it was so. This should be lumped together with verse 5 and with verse 5 in general, but I get the feeling that, like before, there is more here that I do not have the knowledge and wisdom to perceive. Verse 7, and God called the expanse heaven, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. The second earthly 24-hour period is complete. Verse 8, and God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. The creation of gravity is finished, and the creation of solids out of liquids takes place. Verse 9, God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that was good. The physical shaping of the world itself is complete. I was going to go further, but I ran out of time. Hope I gave you something to think about. Have a good day, everyone.